So if you saw the title of this episode, it's pretty obvious. This is our Thanksgiving episode here on the Generation S podcast. And if you can hear it, I apologize. I am actually getting over a bit of a cold this week, so my voice is not nearly as robust as it normally is. But you know what? I'm going to fix that here. I'm going to add a little bit of beautiful piano music here. Let me get that going. There we go. And because you know what? Here's the thing. When you watch a Thanksgiving commercial or hear a Thanksgiving commercial on the radio and people are talking about how thankful they are for everything, you've always got that really sad, sappy piano music in the background. So I figured, you know what? This show is going to be no exception. So thank you so much for listening to this. And again, this is a time to be thankful. It's, in my opinion, one of the greatest times of the year, and truly a chance for you to reflect back on the year behind you, the years behind you even, and just realize what you have in life, what you got going for you that's good. And hopefully you do have some things in your life that are going well for you. And if not, listen, I hope you get some enjoyment out of this podcast at least. And so again, thank you so much for listening. And if you're traveling as you're listening to this, I'm hoping that was kind of my goal, is that you could listen to this while you're maybe in the car, driving to relatives' houses for the holidays. Enjoy. Drive safe, travel safe, fly safe, whatever you're doing. Or if you're hosting and you got this on in the background, maybe you're cooking some food up for the big day, enjoy, and happy Thanksgiving.
What is it?
It's time to go back. Welcome.
Hey, so if you're listening to this the day the episode came out, you might be traveling right now for, in my opinion, one of the biggest holidays, at least, well, not at least, in the United States, because it is a United States holiday, Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving, folks, to you. And welcome to another episode of Generation S. It's a podcast about growing up in the 90s and early 2000s. I'm Dan Kemp, joined once again by one of our top requested co-hosts, Luke Carnivale.
If you're traveling today, my God. Oh boy. God bless you. If you're traveling today, especially in the airports, better you than me. But hope you have safe travel, but yeah, I don't want to travel.
So, well, maybe we'll start there, because really this episode is all about Thanksgiving. We're going to talk about our traditions, how we grew up with the holiday, because unlike other holidays on the calendar, I mean, this one's, correct me if I'm wrong, it's pretty universally celebrated in the U.S., right? There's not houses that, I mean, unless you're, like, you don't celebrate any holidays, I feel like Thanksgiving is still one that's pretty much celebrated because it's an American holiday.
It is, and I agree with what you're saying. It's regardless of your religion, of your race. If you're American, if you're in this country, whether you were born here, you immigrated here, you somehow ended up here, whatever the situation may be, you should be celebrating this. You know, things have changed in the last couple of years, but for the most part, I feel like everybody still celebrates this.
So I'm going to go out on a limb here and tell you this. This is my favorite holiday of the year. Spoiler
Is it
alert.
really?
It is legit my favorite holiday of the year, because it's like the, you know, like we talk about in wrestling, the kickoff, the road to WrestleMania.
The road to the holidays?
This is the road to the holidays. The next 2 months, the last 2 months of the year, well, I guess the last month of the year, really, after Thanksgiving ends, is my favorite time of year. Other than, I do love fall, like for the weather, but I just love the time of year for the holidays, and Thanksgiving kicks it all off. It's still very relaxing because I've never been the house that cooks Thanksgiving dinner, so I've never had to stress about that. I'm always going to someone else's house, so it's not my own house. So no, favorite holiday of the year, hands down. The food, because, you know, Christmas is great. I do celebrate Christmas, but, you know, it's different as an adult. I feel like Thanksgiving is one of those holidays that, regardless of your age, you're going to get the same kind of enjoyment out of it. Is that fair to say? What do you think?
I kind of agree.
Okay.
I feel like Thanksgiving has grown to me the older I get, and Christmas, I mean, I still celebrate Christmas. I still like Christmas. But it is more for the kids.
Yeah.
For the obvious reasons.
Yeah. Well, and that's the
kids.
difference, too, is because I have kids, and so I have a different approach and perspective on it, whereas, you know, you don't have kids yet. And so, yeah, to you, it's just like, it's just more of the same, but not, because you're also a grown adult, and so the expectation is that you're not supposed to get as excited for it, right? I mean, I don't know.
Spoiler, I do.
Well, no, I mean, and it's great to get excited for Christmas,
Yeah.
obviously, but
I think the meaning of Thanksgiving as you get older changes, because you are supposed to give thanks for what you have in your life, and especially in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be so many people talking about that. I'm sure the media is going to just, we should all be thankful because the last couple of years have been really, really hard. Yes, they have, mostly because of you guys, but I digress. It's as you get older, your life gets more difficult, things change, life changes, marriage, kids, jobs, whatever. And if you could take a day to go, you know what? Everything could be a lot worse, or a little bit more worse, or it was worse and now things are better. And I mean, unfortunately, there's going to be some folks that are going through a tough time, especially with the world right now. But as an adult now, Thanksgiving does mean more because of that, of having those moments to take a moment to reflect and eat a lot of bad food.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And watch a lot of bad football teams.
Well, I'm sure we'll talk about that too. I'm waiting for the
Don't spoil it.
So, all right. So like I said, we're going to talk about our traditions and what it meant to us growing up. We'll obviously talk about what it means to us now, because I think that's important, because, like Lou said, it is a time of reflection, and you kind of appreciate that more as an adult. But I want to start with the thing you mentioned, because you mentioned, giving out your sympathies to those who are traveling. If they're listening to this on Wednesday, the 23rd, by the way, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and just toot my own horn here. It's my birthday. If you're listening to this on the day it launches, that is my birthday, so go me.
That's his way of reminding me that I had to get him a gift. I am terrible with birthdays.
It's okay. You're usually within a day or two when you text me or call me, so but vice versa too. It's funny, the only reason I remember your birthday is because it's 2 days before my wife's birthday. And
okay, well,
she claims that it's the opposite. She says the only reason I remember her birthday is because it's 2 days after your birthday.
That's maybe a little true. When you were dating, that might have been true.
A little bit of both. I'll be honest. It's a little bit of both.
I know you're around Thanksgiving, so usually like the weekend before, I go, happy birthday-ish.
Yeah. Well, that's usually when I celebrate it, because again, like during the week, no one's home, so I'm not having a birthday party during the week with friends, so it's the weekend before. This next year, so not this year, but 2023, my birthday actually will be on Thanksgiving.
Oh, boy. All right, I'm going to put it on my calendar now.
Well, now you're not going to forget it. I mean, you put the reminder in. So, but anyway, back to the travel. So did you ever travel much, Lou, for Thanksgiving? Because I know your family was pretty much all like on Long Island or like, downstate New York. I
had a really rough commute. That's why I'm saying I sympathize with people.
Okay.
Because down there, the traffic is terrible. Just being on the LIE, any of the major roads are going to be terrible. I couldn't imagine taking a airplane in the airport, especially now.
Yeah. So did you travel though, or did you guys ever host Thanksgiving for the family?
No,
or
we didn't
you
host.
Always traveled? Okay.
We did not host. My grandmother hosted it. Like I said, it was a tough commute. Going across the street, having to look both ways was really hard.
Well, because of all the traffic,
Yeah.
It took you forever to get across the street.
It did. But that was our commute.
Yeah.
I'm just busting chops. Because, it literally was across the street.
Yeah.
It wasn't a main road, so, yeah, Dan's being a little bit of a...
I mean, you're taking a surface street to get to things. That's... Oh.
Yeah, literally just... You got to be there 8 o'clock. I can leave at 8 o'clock.
Did you guys get over there that early?
Well, PM. I don't know why I said 8.
You go at 8 o'clock. When did you guys have dinner?
All right, so let me backtrack. I didn't mean to say 8 o'clock.
Okay.
Like Peter Venkman, 8 o'clock? I would say we would probably go over there if the first football game is at 1. My dad would probably want to be there at 1.
Okay.
So game started at 1. It would be, all right, they're kicking off. Like, here's the thing. If they lined up to kick... I could be across if the TV was on, I could be across the street and they would be running the ball back.
Well, and this is
for the
back in the
kickoff.
day before they threw in 3 commercial breaks between the coin toss and the kickoff, right? So
I know.
mean, you had to maybe put a little more hitch in your giddy up than you would nowadays.
Yeah.
So for
But
me,
it would be early afternoon.
okay. So for me, my grandmother Nana,
Yes.
the one we lived with when we were going to school together.
Yep.
So she would host every year for many years. I mean, definitely like up until, I mean, gosh, I was probably like almost out of high school, and she was still hosting pretty regularly.
Mhm.
And so it would be us. It would be my cousins would sometimes come from Rochester. When they still lived out there, they actually live down here in Georgia now, funnily enough. And then I would have my aunt and uncle that lived in Georgia at the time would drive up with my cousins. And so that would be, kind of who's there. We would get there probably before noon, honestly, because it was about a 45-minute drive. So we actually did have to drive from our house in upstate New York to a little further south in upstate New York. Clifton Park, New York is where it's called. So if you're listening and you're upstate New York, we were hopping on the Northway. We spent about 45 minutes on the road, and we got to Nana's house. And so we would get there, and Nana was already cooking, obviously. And, my mom would usually help out. So she would like bake the pies and bring the pies, right? That was like her thing. Is she would
What
do
kind
the
of pie?
Pumpkin pie, usually. And then, well, what's your favorite pie?
Apple pie.
I like apple pie's okay.
I'm joking.
I know you are. But they don't get the joke, so we're not gonna go into an inside joke about something.
I know. I'm sorry. We can cut that out.
But do you like? No, I'm not gonna cut it out. But do you like apple pie?
I do like apple pie, but
Okay, so
the moment was there to make the joke that nobody other than another host is going to understand. So
oh my gosh.
if you want to I can take it out.
So when it comes to let me ask you. When it comes to Thanksgiving pies, like how do you what's your top 3?
Well, you
Or
wanted
is
me
it
to
even
make
3?
You wanted me to make a top 10 list, and you want me to give some things away.
So that no, you're
I'm
right.
not going to give the goods out right away. You don't give them out on the first date.
No, listen.
You don't give them out in the first 10 minutes.
That's fair enough. Otherwise, I lose all respect for you. That's totally fair.
And I can't even look at myself in the mirror.
So, well, listen. Let's give a little teaser for that then, because that is coming later in this episode. A guest list segment where you have curated a top 10 Thanksgiving list. Lou, if you could please share what your top 10 list is pertaining to.
Oh, things that I associate Thanksgiving with. And spoiler, I didn't put turkey on it because that would be stupid. Like,
I mean,
yeah.
Do you associate it with turkey? I mean, because there's houses that don't. Like, I know I have friends that like. I mean, they didn't.
Don't
have
tell me
turkey.
that tofu turkey.
No. But they would have like
Okay.
ham, right? That was like their thing was ham or I mean, like a chicken breast. Like if it was a small, like I know my grandparents, if they celebrated by themselves or whatever for some reason, like if
That makes sense.
just a smaller dish. But ham was always a big one. Actually, I knew families that had turkey and ham. That's excessive in my opinion. Like it's got to be one or the other.
obese. Morbidly obese.
No, I mean they weren't obese. I guess there was
No,
just a
not
lot
them.
of
I just said morbidly obese amount of food.
Oh yes. Oh, an obscene amount of food. It's nuts. So we would travel to my grandmother's house. We didn't have the football game on because nobody in my house watched football. We really, my dad was always working for Thanksgiving, so I never got to really spend it with him. He was a corrections officer, and so lo and behold, I don't know if you realize this, prisons are actually open every single day.
I would imagine so, and they should be.
Yeah, so I mean, they can't just like lock them up for the weekend and be like,
Toss away the key.
Yeah,
Good luck, guys.
Yeah,
Like it's a cat. Like I'm going out for the weekend. Extra food, extra water. See you in a couple of days.
just empty the litter box out first, Yeah, no. So yeah, he worked a lot of holidays growing up, and every once in a while he would get off. But I have more memories of him not being there for Thanksgiving than not, and which is fine. I'm not upset. No, Dad, if you're listening to this, I'm not mad. It's fine. But I just remember. So we would go up as my mom and my brothers. We would go up. My sister would come usually, and Nana would be cooking in the kitchen. We would go downstairs and play. Nana always had toys for us, so we'd always play down in the basement, or I guess it's a basement. It's like it was a split level, so it was the lower level of the house that was half underground ish. I don't know. Anyway, so we did that. We usually ate around like one or two. We would eat in her dining
never
room.
understood that. Why do we all eat? Like, oh, it's a holiday. Let's all eat dinner at lunchtime.
Well, and
why do we do that?
Because you're going to eat so much that you're not going to want to have dinner, and you're going to want to go to bed without feeling a lot of indigestion. As an adult, I appreciate the earlier dinner time.
But that early? I was thinking like maybe like 4 or 5.
I mean, dude, well, that's when we normally eat dinner in my house now.
Oh,
It's
wow.
like-
Okay,
it's like
never mind. Sorry.
That's funny because you'll be
Because when I
calling-
call you, so I call you, like, what are you doing? I'm eating dinner. Like, oh, I just got out of work.
You're like on your way home from work, and I'm like eating dinner with the kids, and then like I'll call you at like 8, and you're like, hold on, we're just finishing up dinner. I'm like, dude, like my kids are in bed. I'm like putting my jams on, and you're eating anyway. So yeah, I can appreciate the earlier meal times of like 1 or 2 o'clock. Now I'll say this: nowadays, like Beth's mom, my wife's mother hosts Thanksgiving, so we go down there. It's very similar to your situation that you had back in the day. We literally have to walk 3 doors down in our neighborhood, on the same side of the road, so it's actually even safer than your commute was.
Is it? People could be backing out of their driveways.
I mean, they might be, but I mean, you're right. I didn't even think about that. Wow.
Yeah.
My life just flashed before my eyes. But we get there early, and you know why? Is the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Did you ever watch that growing up?
I'm going to defer that for a later time. That
Okay.
answer.
That's fair enough. We'll talk about it later. So we would get there, watch the parade. So we usually roll in there at like between 7:30 and 8:30 in the morning.
Wow, that's really early.
But we're also, I mean, we're like cows. We're grazing all day. They've got breakfast out for us, like a brunch, and there's literally food to eat as food is being prepared. So, I mean,
I'm going to tell your wife you just called your family a cow.
no,
Bunch of cows.
just
Grazing
grazing.
like cows.
It's her. She came up with the term, not me. So you can go ahead and tell her. It's fine.
Okay.
She's
I'll let
going to
her
listen to this. Theoretically, she'll listen to this. She'll hear it. But
you should listen.
yeah,
You could use the listen. We could use the number.
absolutely we can. Which, by the way, folks, if you haven't, this perfectly organic segue here. If you have not yet subscribed to the show and you like what we're talking about and you like hearing about stuff around growing up when we did, make sure you've subscribed and make sure you get that little notification when a new episode drops, which theoretically is every Wednesday. Anyway, but I digress. Back to Thanksgiving. So yeah, that's our travel. I mean, what do you want to talk about next? So when you get there, like, do you just sit down in front of the TV? Like back in the day when you go to your grandmother's house, do you just you go over there and you just sit down in front of the TV right away and you start watching football, or do you go do something else?
I'm going to say this was a very stereotypical household.
Okay.
That all the women were in the kitchen.
Yep.
And all the men were in the living room watching sports.
Okay.
And all the kids, and by kids, when I was older, it's just one cousin was younger, was in the back room playing with his toys.
Okay.
Not saying it's the right way. Not saying it was the best way, but it is funny as an adult, or as the later years. I think my grandmother she stopped hosting it when I went to college and I moved. But like, in high school, you can kind of see like, oh crap, look, it's literally
Yeah.
men are not doing anything. They're just sitting there trying to stay awake before dinner.
Yeah.
And the women are there busting their asses trying to get everything ready.
Mm-hmm.
So that was ironic to see getting as I got older.
Now, okay, we're gonna jump into the present day with you. So what do you guys do now? You're upstate now, so you're closer to your mom versus your wife's parents. Whereas I know you used to be more downstate. So what do you guys do now? Do you have a tradition still, or is it every year is kind of different?
Every year for a while was different.
Okay.
But when we were downstate, we would come up here because the travel. I know I was joking about I don't want to travel. I would travel on Thanksgiving morning. Because it would be a lot less than
people usually travel on the day before. So
Yes.
again, that's why I wanted to get this episode out on the day of the travel, so people have something to listen to. See that?
Yes.
Just it works out.
So we would come up here Thanksgiving morning because nobody's on the road Thanksgiving morning.
Yep.
The parade would be DVR'd
Okay.
in advance for us.
Yep.
And then if we wanted to go out the next morning, boy, is it a lot easier in upstate New York than Metro New York trying to go out Friday morning.
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
Well, let's call it what it is. Black Friday, right?
That's just
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough down there.
Well, we'll talk
It's
about Black
rough.
Friday as well because I've got stories from Black Friday. But okay, so but my point being there is wherever you go, is it still that, as you call it, the traditional household where all the men are sitting around, or would you say it's a bit more even in terms of the distribution of the cooking and the preparation?
It's still the same.
It is. Okay.
To be honest, it's still the same. I think I help more.
Yeah.
But it's still that stereotypical football's on.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, my mom's like, "Oh, great, I'll watch too."
Right.
But it's still that stereotypical. The women are doing it. The men are kind of, watching the game or even doing something outside. I've had some Thanksgivings where they've been so warm.
Yeah.
Where my dad would be like, "Get the lights out."
Oh, just
Like the
start
Christmas
decorating and yeah.
outside, because if it's unseasonably warm, he would turn around and say, I'm not going to light them.
Yeah.
That's one thing he wouldn't do. He wouldn't light them. He would put them out on the bushes and everything like that. If the blown plastic guys, which I absolutely love, the old school guys, the plastic molds.
We have a few of those.
Me too, and they're really expensive now. I'm sure we'll touch on that in a future episode of something.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he wouldn't put them out. He would put the stakes in the ground.
Okay.
To put them, because he's like, why am I going to wait? Because the ground's
frozen. Yeah, if you can't do it. The ground's frozen. So let me ask you.
And the flip side, sorry.
Oh yeah.
On the flip side, there would be times right after the holidays, like 2 or 3 days after, you get an unseasonably warm 50-degree day. Well, guess what? Everything's coming down.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it's ground's going to thaw for the day and yank everything out.
So, well, let me ask you this, and I guess this is a more modern day question, but maybe back then too. Like, when did you start? Well, we'll start back then. When did you guys start putting up Christmas decorations? Was it the day after Thanksgiving?
No. Unless it was, like I said, unless it was
warm.
Warm, my dad's like, okay. It also make my job easier.
Sure.
Having to hold everything.
Oh, yeah.
I would say maybe the first weekend in December.
Okay, so you waited until December. You didn't,
Yeah, we didn't do it again unless it was like really nice out. And then inside, definitely till December. There's no reason to do that.
So what about now though? Like, do you still wait until December to put even inside?
Yeah, inside is 100% until December.
Okay.
And then outside it was funny because as we're recording this, it is November 10th.
Yes.
And in this region where I am, it was like 75 degrees this weekend. I'm like, I should probably put out my Christmas decorations. I thought I was insane, but as I was driving, I actually did see some people putting out some decorations. It makes sense. It's 75 degrees. Just don't light them up.
Well,
put them out. Don't light them up.
So same thing is starting to happen in my neighborhood now. It's funny because I have one guy, he's a good guy, but he loves The Nightmare Before Christmas. And so for Halloween, that's how he decorated his house. And now it's November, so he just left up a few of those decorations, and he just put up some Christmas lights, and is like, boom, it's two holidays in one, for the same decorations. It was genius. So he didn't light them yet. Like, I haven't seen any like lit decorations outside or whatever, but they're starting, like you said, they're starting to put things out. We're not. I mean, honestly, we usually will do it the day after Thanksgiving, just because that's been our family tradition for the last 10 years. But growing up, it was always like first weekend in December. It was never in November. I feel like that's definitely a newer thing.
We would take down the decorations inside Super Bowl Sunday during like the 15-hour pregame show.
Oh my God. No, like, no, that's not growing up. Yeah, we definitely left him up forever. And it wasn't like a Catholic thing. I know that there's a whole little Christmas thing.
Yes, there is. Yes.
Yeah. Like, we didn't do that, but we were too lazy to take him down, I guess. Like, I mean, I think our tree, 1 year, like, I'm not even kidding, probably stayed up until February.
Yeah, that's usually when mine would come up. My dad wanted to get a solid 2 months out of it.
Wow. Was it a real tree though?
As I got older, it was, yes.
Okay, so we always had a fake tree. So, I mean, it wasn't like we were like, oh, I'm just going to keep it up. No, and we always just carried it back out to the garage fully assembled. Like, I mean, it was, anyway.
Now I have a fake tree.
Okay, yeah, same here. So, well, anyway, this is not a Christmas episode, so we're not going to get too much into that.
Well, Thanksgiving, like you said, is the kickoff.
It is the kickoff. It is the road to New Year's Eve. Let's call it that,
sure. Right? Road to a new year.
There you go. And it's when you got to start reflecting and being thankful for it. So,
yes.
All right. So you're
the fat
there.
Man gives you gifts.
There it is. The fat man gives you gifts. It's perfect. So you're there at your grandmother's house. You guys are watching football because you're a man, and God forbid you go in a kitchen. You're playing with toys. As you get older, I'm sure you're actually out there watching the game with your dad and with your family because you're big into sports. I never was, so I never really cared for honestly, I didn't get into football until I moved down here and like really saw what college football was all about.
And now you're into college football.
I don't watch NFL, but I'll watch college football. Like, it's a lot of fun. And it's the
opposite up here.
Yeah, because there's no good teams in the North.
Well, I think it's man, how do I say this without people coming at me with pitchforks? They're going to come at me with pitchforks. I feel like if you live in Metro New York, because you have to pay so much is expected of you, hustle, work. Are you interested in minor league? I mean, essentially, that's what college is. I mean,
technically,
I'm not saying that in a bad way because they're way better athletes than I ever am. Was. Is that the right? Yes. Is. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I do.
But the thing is, you're expected to be the best. You want to see the best.
Well, that's
and
fair.
College is minor league. So it's just not, and like you said also, there's no real good program. But when our programs do good, if the Red Storm do good in college basketball, it's a fever pitch.
Oh, basketball is a different story up there, though. College basketball is way more popular up north than it is down here. We don't follow college basketball.
Yeah, local college football here, not so much in New York State.
No, I mean, but I live in Georgia, so like literally, you could go to a Target or a Walmart, and you will see more University of Georgia merchandise than you will see Atlanta Falcons. Like,
yeah, I believe I've seen it.
It's not even close. It's even more expensive than the Falcons. I can get Falcons decorations cheaper than I can Georgia. It's insane. So anyway, so all that being said, I didn't like football growing up, so I didn't watch it. Again, we kind of just hung out downstairs. We didn't even really watch TV down there, honestly. We played, and it was just good seeing my cousins. We would go in the backyard every once in a while if the weather was good. Once in a while, by the way, do you remember snow? Like, I mean, we lived in New York and we got snow, but did it come around Thanksgiving ever?
First Thanksgiving in upstate New York, it snowed for me. So
okay.
Thanksgiving of 04. Yes, 04.
Okay.
Sound like a whale right there. That's going to sound great for the listeners. 04.
All right. So, yeah, I guess that's yeah.
And that was the first Black Friday I ever worked also.
That's right, because you were working retail when you moved.
I was working retail, and I'm like, up at 2 a.m., working retail, and it's snowing. It doesn't get any better than this.
You got to sleep in till 2 a.m. You couldn't even do that these days. It's insane.
Yeah.
You start at midnight. Anyway, all right, so you're watching football. All right, dinner's ready. Different time for us. You know, we ate earlier. Or did you eat? So you did eat earlier, though.
Like 3 or 4.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, I guess we probably ate 1 or 2. I mean, it's still somewhere between 1 and 5 is when the food got started. How did you guys lay it out? I mean, I know with us it was like all the food was on the table at the same time. Just pick something, dig in. Like, did you guys have courses, or how did you lay it out for the meal?
For the main meal, everything was on the table.
Okay.
I'm trying to think.
Did you have any appetizers beforehand, or?
I remember one. It's funny you say that. The only time I remember eating appetizers there, besides like nuts that you actually had to crack.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if there's certain terminology for that.
In the shell,
not a half shell. Those are heroes in a half shell.
That's right. Yeah,
these are just whole shells.
Yes.
So I remember those, but I remember making the what's the dip for the shrimp? Cocktail sauce.
Yeah, like the red.
I didn't realize how much horseradish you should put in it.
Oh yeah.
So after I put a half a bottle into it.
Oh, you made the cocktail sauce.
Yeah, all it is ketchup and horseradish.
Yes.
But I didn't realize how much is needed for flavor. So I put half of the jar of horseradish into the bowl, which was way too much.
Yes.
And he didn't have any extra ketchup to dilute it, so only like 2 or 3 guys ate it.
Were you one of the people that ate it?
No.
You don't do spicy, though.
I didn't get into seafood till I got older, so I think I was just making it to help out. See, don't dare go in the kitchen. I went in the kitchen to put me to work, and that's what they got.
And they got horseradish sauce.
Yeah.
Oh man,
yeah, coming out of every hole. Like, woo, not good.
All right, so they had. I feel like shrimp cocktail is a very popular pre-Thanksgiving dinner appetizer.
Yeah, I think it's because it's not something well, at least in my family, I don't want to say everybody, but we didn't have it that much. In fact, I think the most time we ever had shrimp was probably Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. And after that, you really didn't have it.
No, well, because I mean, I know, like, again, going back to like Catholic traditions, you had like the little fishes on Christmas Eve. So like seafood, it's a big thing to eat for whether it's, I don't know if it's Catholic or if it's specifically like the Italian American culture heritage. Okay, so it's both. So yeah, so there's definitely a lot more seafood that time of year. So that makes sense.
Hey, Bobby the Poopy.
So
Did you have the kids table?
Do we have a kids table? You know, it's funny. We didn't. My grandmother had a huge dining room table. We could all sit there. We all fit. Because it wasn't a huge. Now, as I got older, and we ventured out. Like I remember a couple of times I went to, like, if I had a girlfriend, I would go to her family's for Thanksgiving, and I felt cool. Oh yeah, no, it was. She went to a different school though, so but I swear she was real. And so we.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. That's like every high school boy's. I have a girlfriend, but she goes to the school in the next town. Well, how'd you meet her? Didn't think that far in ahead.
Well, yeah, basically. So we, anyway, so they would have kids tables, and so I would sit at those. Even though I was a teenager at the time, they would still put us at the kids table. Actually, it's really funny. So a few years ago, actually, like when both of my kids were alive, so within the last 4 years, we had Thanksgiving one year at Beth's sister's house, and they didn't have enough room at the main table, so they had a kids table for my kids and me and Beth. So we had to sit at the kids table at her sister's house. Because we had kids, yeah. So we were stuck with the kids at the kids' table.
I think they should do that in restaurants.
What, just if all the families with kids sit in one section of the restaurant?
Yeah. You remember when you were younger, you go smoking or non-smoking?
That's true. So children or non-children?
Non-children, exactly.
That's fair. All right.
I think that should be done. I've seen it done.
I feel like there'd be a lot of backlash for that, though.
Well, then go eat somewhere else. Sorry. But I mean, I'm not talking about McDonald's or something like that. I'm talking about, I'm not even at Applebee's. I'm not even saying that.
You're talking like high end, like we're talking $40 to $50 a plate.
Yeah, something that you have to wear a polo shirt to.
Okay, so like a nicer place.
Casual, not a $100 steakhouse, because you're probably not going to bring your kids there. Some people do. God bless if you could do that. But I'm talking about a nice night out.
Yeah.
And for the most part, you're going to have well-behaved kids, but the kids get cranky. They don't like what they're eating, so on and so forth. Yeah, I don't want to deal with that.
Okay.
But I have been to places in Queens that we went out with some friends that had kids, and we had to sit in the kids section.
In the kids section, yeah.
They didn't even give me crayons.
Man, yeah, that's a ripoff.
Said I was too old.
That's ridiculous. Listen, you're never too old for Crayola crayons. So, okay, you asked me about a kids' table. So, again, we didn't have one. So, I take it you did then? You had a kids' table.
We did.
But there's only two of you.
What do you mean?
It was just you and your cousin, right? Or was there other kids?
Oh, I have 4 cousins.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Technically 5. I have a half cousin.
That's a cousin.
It is.
Did they go to the Thanksgiving tradition? Like, did they go to the dinner?
Yeah. Well, my half cousin, or step cousin. What's the difference between a half and a step?
Well, a half means you're actually related to them. Like you can't have a half cousin, because technically a half cousin is just a cousin. A step cousin is through marriage. So if they weren't related to you at all, and like let's say your uncle married somebody who had a child.
Yep.
That would be their stepdaughter or stepson. That would be your step cousin.
Okay.
So no relation to you.
Yes, technically no blood. But I never called her my step cousin.
No, of course not. You're your cousin.
Yeah.
So all right. So there were 5 of you guys then.
5 of us.
Okay.
But even as we were older into our teens, and she was a little bit older, and we were still at wasn't the kiddie table, it was just the younger guy table.
Oh, okay. So
we always kind of had that spot at the end, and we got the old school poker table at the end.
Oh, yeah. Just attach it. And then did you have one giant cloth, or did you have a separate tablecloth?
I don't think we had a tablecloth.
There's no tablecloths? Okay.
No.
You know what I remember? And I love this about it was like I felt so cool because it was the one time of year that, because Nana would set the table for everybody, I was allowed to have like a steak knife.
Like look at you.
She put knives next to every plate, and I felt so grown up because I couldn't touch it, mind you. I just had to sit there. But I had a knife in front of me, and I felt like, oh, I'm one of the adults. I felt really cool.
I felt like an adult when I was given wine to drink.
See, I never did that. We never had wine in the house.
Really?
Yeah. Well, again, it's we're not. I feel like that's an Italian thing, right? I mean, the wine.
Yes, but it's on my mom's side, so they're not Italian.
Oh well, maybe it's a downstate there. I don't know, or like,
maybe.
I don't know. We didn't. My parents didn't really drink, so we didn't really ever have it in the house.
No,
anyway.
And that's the thing. My family doesn't either.
Okay,
but
you would have wine for
those 3 events: Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. Even counting the eves, also.
Yeah.
As silly as that sounds, that was the only time we drank.
Okay.
Literally, my dad had 1 drink a year, and it was on Christmas Eve.
Okay. And so did you have wine at Thanksgiving then, or no?
Yes, we did.
Okay, so you would have wine then.
We didn't have Thanksgiving.
No alcohol. I do remember, actually, my first memory of ever trying eggnog was on a Thanksgiving. And I know that's kind of more of a Christmas thing. You can buy it now, though. It comes out like the day after Halloween. Like, it's in stores. And I love... What are your thoughts on eggnog, by the way? I love eggnog.
I like a shot glass is enough for me.
It's too heavy. It's too rich
It's
for
too
you.
yeah.
Okay.
A shot glass is just fine.
Because I agree. But what I'll do, just to get more enjoyment out of the essence of the eggnog, is I'll cut it in half with like a glass of milk, right? And I'll drink a full glass. So the eggnog has been dispersed throughout this glass of milk. So you still get the flavor of the eggnog, but it doesn't feel like you're drinking melted ice cream. It's perfect. So anyway, and then of course there's the whole eggnog with booze. I actually don't like eggnog with alcohol in it.
I just don't like eggnog at all. Period.
You just don't even like the taste of it. It's
I like the taste of it, but it's just too too rich. It's too thick. I just nah.
So you wouldn't even would you put a little like Southern Comfort in there and shoot it down? Or
Sure,
no?
but I get same thing. A shot glass is just fine.
That's just enough. Yeah. See, my problem is I'll keep drinking it, and because I will. I remember one time I drank probably a quart of eggnog in one evening.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was bad. I mean, this was back before when I had somewhat of a metabolism. I certainly couldn't do that now. This was back when I was a teenager. But yeah, no, I remember trying eggnog. What else? Like, I'm trying to think of like. I mean, you put together a top 10 list. Are we not allowed to talk about the food before then, or can we talk about the food?
Do you want me to just get to the top 10 list? Because, we can discuss things in the list.
All right. You want to do that?
Let's do that.
That's fair. All right. So, our top 10 Thanksgiving remembrances. What are we calling these again?
I would say things that remind me of things. Like, when I think Thanksgiving, these are the things that pop in my head.
Okay.
And vice versa. When I see these things, it reminds me of Thanksgiving.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So then let's go ahead and get started with that. Our episode's guest list. Let's start with number 10.
This one's very broad.
Okay.
It's just sports in general on Thanksgiving Eve. I just remember growing up and living by Nassau Coliseum, which is where the Islanders played. You got the Islanders, you got the Rangers, you got the Knicks. Now you have the Nets playing. Being a wrestling fan also, one of their big pay-per-views was on Thanksgiving Eve.
That's right.
The
Survivor Series.
Survivor Series used to be on Thanksgiving Eve. So the reason those things jump in my mind is, as a kid, as you know, my commute was very long. Very long. More dangerous than Dan's because those cars backing up.
Yes.
So my mom would actually go over the night before and help make the stuffing and kind of get things going a little bit. She said, when my grandmother passed away about 4 years ago, and she told me, she goes, one of my favorite things I held on to with my mother was getting everything ready on Thanksgiving Eve because it was just them.
Yeah.
That's it. It was just them. No kid, no husband, no other family. It was just mother, daughter.
Yeah.
Spending time together doing that. And meanwhile, for me, it was just me and dad.
Yeah. So that was your
It was me and dad watching Survivor Series, watching a game on TV. When I got older, I would go to those, Thanksgiving Eve Islander games, and they'd be kind of rowdy. And, I'm an adult. I'm out on Thanksgiving Eve. So that's something I've kind of always held on to.
Okay. So sports, well, obviously, yeah, Thanksgiving Eve and then Thanksgiving Day, of course, with football. And, let's not forget the greatest sport that is shown on Thanksgiving Day. Do you know what that is?
The dog show.
Yes, it is the dog show. Or is that, did I just spoil something on the list?
No. That's certainly not on the list. I mean, like I said, spoiler, football is going to be on this list. It's going to be, but
yeah, it has to be.
There's actually more to that, but Thanksgiving is, like I said, the day before. A lot of sports teams are playing. The wrestling's usually on. The day after now, hockey has Thanksgiving Showdown. It's one of 5 teams. It's always the Rangers, the Bruins, the Flyers, Capitals, and Penguins. That's it. It's like 5 teams. But sports has always been part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. All right. That's a solid number 10. All right. Then let's see what you got for number 9.
This is a big one.
Okay.
But it's newer. And I think this is going to cause a good discussion, which is why I said, let's do this now, because
Yeah.
I could sense there were some things on your tip of your tongue that you want to discuss. So let's talk about Black Friday.
Yes. Okay.
Because I don't remember Black Friday when I was a kid.
Neither do I. And thank God, because I thought I was crazy that I got to college and everyone's like, oh man, Black Friday. I was like, I never did. What is Black Friday? Like,
Do you know what it's called at Target?
No. What is
At least
it called?
when I worked. So we're talking 04, 05. It's called Green Friday. It's
And
not
why-
a joke. It's actually the internal branding at the time was, it's called Green Friday because we're in to make money. I'm like, well, no, duh. Like,
Yeah.
it's retail. We're here to make money every day. That's not me being, we're here to make money every day. It's like, stop it. Just stop. We're here to make money every day.
So I think that counts as childhood too, because you were in high school. Well, no, technically
No, it was
you
in
just
college.
graduated. It was college that you worked there, but we can count that as being part of our childhood because it was simpler times. So you worked it, but before you worked it, had you ever gone out
No.
on Black Friday? No.
No, I don't even really remember it. I remember as a senior in high school. So now we're talking about 03. I was working on Hollywood Video. There's that could be a whole episode.
Oh yeah.
And I worked Thanksgiving night at Hollywood Video. And I thought it was so cool because like, I got to go to work and I'm getting extra money and blah, 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 blah.
Oh yeah, they pay like time and a half or whatever, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, but I don't remember why, like, I'm going to get up. And this is a year later.
Yeah.
This is a year later. I'm going from working at Hollywood Video in 03 to 04, working at Target when I went to college. And I got to be up at what time? For what? Well, who's going to be out? That's stupid. Oh, boy, was I wrong.
Oh yeah.
So
It's
I
nuts.
now it's just insane.
Well, now it's almost come back
Black
around
Friday now. Black
Well,
Friday in July.
That's the thing. Yes. I think they're trying to avoid what is essentially the chaos that has plagued the last 10 years or so where, I mean, dude, people die on Black Friday. They get trampled.
Oh, yeah.
It's
There was somebody that died in Long Island for a PS3 on Black Friday a couple years ago.
I've
10
seen,
years ago now.
I have seen in person fights break out over like beanies. Like not beanie babies, like hats, like knit caps that were like $1 at Walmart, and people were fighting over them and getting hurt, and it's ridiculous. But all that to say, we didn't do Black Friday growing up. I didn't go on my first Black Friday outing until I was, I mean, if I'm being generous, 22 or 23. And it was because I had gone back up to New York. I was living in Georgia. I'd gone back up to New York, and my brother was like, dude, let's go out Black Friday. And by go out early, like we got up at 6:30. Like we didn't go out at like 2. I've done that a couple times since I've lived down here. Is it ever worth it? Not really, especially, and we haven't done it since we've had kids. Like maybe Beth will go out and I'll stay home. The kids will go to bed and I'll just watch a movie. She'll go out because they would open at midnight for a while or even early. They'd open at like 10 p.m.
Oh, that's
on Thanksgiving.
Terrible. No, that's okay. I'm gonna get on a soapbox for a second.
Okay.
And having worked a Black Friday, first of all, it's a notch in your belt.
Yes.
I've worked a Black Friday. That's number one. Number two, I was going to college and working a Black Friday made me say, okay, I don't want to do retail. I don't.
Yeah.
This isn't for me.
That's the ultimate challenge right there.
I don't want to do this. It's a different animal, but in retrospect, you know what you're signing up for. You do. When you work retail, you're going to be working Black Friday. And they don't do this anymore. They stopped this. I think most places stop this garbage, and I will call it garbage.
Well, opening on Thanksgiving.
They open, Black Friday starts the day before at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
So they got to work the night before to like whatever, probably midnight.
Yep.
1 o'clock, they'll probably get out. Be off for Thanksgiving Day. And then, by the way, we're opening at midnight again on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah.
Or
And
even
then-
earlier, 8 o'clock.
And they're working, 9-10 hour shifts at least the
It's
next
garbage.
day. Yeah.
No,
100% agree. But I feel like they've stopped that recently. Like in the last, like this year, I feel like
They did.
they're having all these Black Friday sales, and all these stores have now said we're not going to open on Thanksgiving. Now, they still haven't said if they're going to open at midnight the next day, but at least on Thanksgiving, they're not open at all.
Yeah. And I agree. I think that's the best call to do because they got some backlash.
Oh, yeah, because first off, the deals usually aren't that good. Second of all, you can get, Cyber Monday is now a thing. How long has Cyber Monday been going on for? That wasn't when we were kids, right? Like when we were like older with the
No,
internet?
I think that was, again, college at the earliest. We're talking or 04, 5, 6,
Yeah.
maybe even
But
7.
Honestly, I probably even after that, because people weren't ordering. I associate Cyber Monday primarily with like Amazon, and I wasn't really buying stuff off Amazon regularly until, I mean, God, if it was 2011, you know what I mean?
I was just going to say smartphones.
Yeah. So I
if you
mean, I
got
guess,
a iPhone or something like that, that's when you were really ordering.
but still, that was 10 years ago. So like with the advent of a Cyber Monday, there's not much appeal to a Black Friday unless you're going to get a TV. And look, surprise, you can get a big TV for $300 most times out of the year now. So
Some people like to do it because it's another
tradition. I guess. Yeah.
Exactly. It's something to do. I go out. I have gone out. There were times, like, oh, I'm going to get up really early, and I did. Now it's just when I get up, I get up.
Yeah.
I still have that luxury. Sorry. I'm just going to but I get up like I'm going to work. My alarm is set for 6:30 to go to work. Maybe I'll sleep in for an extra half hour.
Yeah.
But then I'll just pick up, and I literally have things right around the corner for me. I'll just stagger in. But I don't remember this being so big, and I feel like it got really big really fast.
Yeah.
Like very fast.
Yes, I agree.
Now, there are some deals that are worth it.
Yeah, I mean, there are. But again, I don't know. Like, as I've gotten older, I've gotten less materialistic. I think that's the best way to put it. Like, I don't need as much stuff, right? So I don't get as excited to see stuff when it's on sale. It's like, unless I need it. Like, if it's something we need, like if we were in the market for a new TV, or like, hey, that PlayStation 5, I mean, yeah, I probably would get a PlayStation 5. I don't think they're going to be out for Black Friday. They're going to be sold out before then.
They're available now.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, but
you save $10 if you buy it now.
I mean, my gosh,
$10.
$10 whole dollars.
But do you remember? Do you remember back in the day when you got the holiday bundle for Xbox or PlayStation? It was a system and a game.
Yeah.
Or the system and a controller packed in. Now it's a system and a game, and you save $10.
That's ridiculous.
Woo!
Let me ask you this before we get to number 8. You mentioned, because you were talking about how you would get up like you were going to work. So as a kid, obviously, we'd get Thanksgiving and Black Friday off. Did you get down here in Georgia, they get the whole week off. I never got the whole week off up north. Did you ever get the whole week off before?
I've never gotten the whole week off anywhere.
No. Okay.
Anywhere. Upstate, downstate. I've
no,
never
it was
that.
You would get Thanksgiving and then the next day off, and that was it. You get a 4-day weekend.
Even in New York, because Metro New York.
Yeah.
Black Friday's 50-50.
Like you were like, as far as like school or work?
Well, school is always off.
That's what I'm saying. But like,
I'm asking. You meant for the
school?
kids.
Did you get, as a kid? I never got the full
I'm
week
sorry.
off.
I thought I misinterpreted that. I thought you meant as an adult they got the whole week off. I'm
no,
like, damn,
no,
that's awesome.
No, God, no. And I agree. I think it's a crapshoot if you get Black Friday off. Like most companies I've worked at, I've gotten the Friday after off.
That's a thing that's changed for the better.
Yes.
As we talk about Black Friday, the increase of people going out and shopping.
Yes.
The flip side is I feel like there's been an increase of just take the day, or it's one of those days, in the office, like, hey, no more than 2 or 3 people can have a day off.
Yeah.
Black
Come in and don't do anything.
Black Friday is one of those exceptions where, like, yeah, as many people that want off can take off.
Yes. So, but no, but as a kid, though, did you get the full week or just the 2 days? Because I only got the 2 days.
I think I had a half day the day before.
So Wednesday before.
But I went to private school, Catholic school.
Okay. So it was maybe a little different.
Think that Wednesday was a throwaway day.
Okay.
And you would go in and you go to church, and that would be it.
Okay.
So as I got older, my parents were like, just stay home. Like,
yeah.
There's no point of getting up.
I'll write you a note.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's funny. Okay, now it's coming back to me. I remember those half days before the holidays.
Yeah.
The line, when you came back the next week, the line to get a readmit note.
Oh, because everyone did the same thing.
Freaking long.
Yeah.
That if you really didn't like your first period class, guess what? I'm sorry, I'm like halfway through the class. I just got here. I had to wait to get that note. I feel better, though. Are you happy I got it? And if you kind of did like your first period class, you just went in.
Yeah.
Like,
and
you weren't
saying anything.
Nobody cared.
Because they knew.
Yeah.
So, but it was always, for me, it was always Thanksgiving and then the next day. And again, we didn't call it Black Friday back then because I didn't know what that was. It was Thanksgiving and the day after Thanksgiving.
The day after.
That's all it was. And then I knew that like I was only a few weeks away from having a Christmas break, so that was great. Anyway, so that was a big detour here. Let's keep the list going here. So if you could pull that back up for you, good sir, what do you have for number 8?
This is my favorite.
Why isn't it
not the number
one?
one, but
Okay.
it's one of my favorite memories. I probably just said that about the sports and Survivor Series, so way to go, Lou, you idiot. But Sears catalog.
Oh. You know
what
what's
I'm
funny?
talking about?
I know what you're talking. We never got one though. I know,
What?
and I know how popular it is because that was like the Christmas list. Like,
Yes.
that was how you made your Christmas list.
Yes.
I don't recall getting a Sears catalog. We
Did
also
you
didn't have
Sears by you?
not really. Like, you had to go like 30 minutes at least to get to one. So
Okay.
it wasn't like
That'll
a
be
big
why.
thing. I'm trying to remember. Like, because we would do the whole Santa visit and things like that, but I don't remember. But I remember like seeing ads for toys, like we would get in the newspaper, right? Just the regular newspaper. But we
Yeah.
never got the Sears catalog. So actually, I'm kind of curious because I don't know a lot about it, other than the fact that it's just here's what we're selling. Was it all toys or was it other stuff?
It was everything.
Okay.
I would suggest doing a YouTube search,
Okay.
and there's lots of people that have Sears catalog reviews. We've talked about him before. James Rolfe. Is that how you say his last name?
Rolfe. Yeah.
Rolfe. Well, the nerd, angry video
Game nerd. Yeah.
I can't remember if it's in his in character or it's just him doing a review of it. But, you know, our audience, I feel like, would kind of, for the most part, relate to his type of humor.
Yeah.
He does a review of just Sears catalog. A Sears
really?
catalog book. Yes.
Okay. I'll check that out.
And it's everything. It's one page can be toys, and you flip it over, and the next page is lingerie.
Oh, there's no
Like
rhyme
actually
or reason to it.
Wearing the lingerie, not just on a mannequin. But again, we're talking about 1992, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
By today's standard, that's absolutely nothing. Take out a phone and see a lot worse, a lot quicker.
Yeah.
But back in those days, woo, hey, that's...
You had National Geographic and you had the Sears catalog, and you
Yes.
had a lot of self-discovery. That was your life.
It was. And if you got really lucky, you got the Victoria's Secret catalog.
So let me ask you. We've talked about toys. Well, we're going to do an episode on toys, I'm sure. Like,
Okay.
what were you when you would open that catalog? What were you looking for?
Right for the toys, obviously. Toys and
sure.
video games.
Yeah, but like as far
Like,
as toys, though.
I didn't need the sports stuff because my dad would take care of that. I would have my sports gear if I was playing hockey, basketball, baseball. I didn't have to ask
That was just
for
part of
that.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
But like, okay, so for the toys though, like, was there a specific like intellectual property or like line of toys or a type of toy? Like for me, it was always like I would always, if I got a catalog of any kind, I would look at the action figures first. That was always my.
It was
go-to.
always the action figures. I feel like the Sears catalog had a lot of video games
okay.
too.
Did they like hand draw them? Like, was it like illustrated? Like, because I remember like
no,
I
it
remember
was
I
like
would get like it was like pictures of them.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I remember getting like I don't know if they're catalogs or just out of the newspaper or magazine. Like they would hand draw like Nintendo cartridges with like
Is that
really
foreshadowing for something?
no, it's not. But I'm just saying they would hand draw all of the toys. Like there would be hand drawn pictures of like the turtle toys that clearly they obviously traced a picture of it, but like it was drawn. It wasn't the actual
Never
photo of it.
saw that. If I recall correctly, it was just like a single screenshot and like 4 or 5 lines that were very generic. I
Okay.
mean, like super generic.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Sears catalog, because you would get it and you would circle things.
Yep.
So I would go in and I would circle things,
Okay.
and then my mom would disperse it.
Yeah. Well, you got to get it to
Base-
Santa somehow.
Well, no, it's a family
Oh, this was for the family
because
presents. Okay.
everybody's there.
That's right.
Everybody's there, and they could see exactly. So you say, "Oh, I want Zelda on Nintendo." You tell my uncle, he's like, "What the hell is a Zelda?"
Yeah.
You know, he wouldn't know. But if you say, "Hey, look at this," okay, and he'd write it down, or he'd probably just tear out. Knowing my uncle, just tear it out, and stick it in his pocket. Yeah, fine. Go in his Sears, own Crumble, and make here. Give me this.
Yeah.
That's probably what he did. Which is the smartest thing before phones. Just actually take it with you.
Oh yeah.
So that was big. That was exciting. That was very exciting. And I don't know I don't know if my parents got it delivered or they went to the store and they got it or my grandmother got it. I don't know. But I remember there was a couple of years and it was a thick book. It was a big book. Nobody has a need for it now. But do you know Amazon does it now?
We get it in the mail. Like, my
Isn't that
kids love it.
exciting?
They love it. I
Screw
love
the
it.
kids. I love it.
No, I love looking through it. It's true. No, they love looking through that thing, man. We actually get from several. Amazon's one. Then we get there's like an educational toy company that we bought from before, so they'll send a big catalog. So they love it, man. They're like sitting there at the dinner table reading their magazines, right? I'm like, whatever, man, go nuts. It is really cool. So they're kind of, I like that they're bringing it back, especially in the age where you can go look up anything you want to. Sometimes it's nice just to have it put in front of you, and you can be like, all right, well, this is what I'm going to look at. You know what I mean? So,
do you remember when it came in the mail? What, like, seeing it?
Well, and again, we didn't get the Sears catalog.
No, I meant the Amazon one.
Oh, no, it's so cool. Like, I pulled it, I was like, oh, this is great. All right, cool.
You actually like, this is really cool.
This is a lot of fun. Yeah, no. So like, because we'll get those for like there's an online retailer called Wayfair. They do like furniture and stuff. Mm-hmm. And of course, I'm 34, so I get excited looking at furniture sales. And so I'll look through that like, oh, this is nifty. So yeah. Oh man, no, good stuff. All right, so that and just so I'm clear, so that would happen on Thanksgiving. That would come out.
Yes, that would.
Okay, so that was a Thanksgiving Day tradition where Lou would circle his Christmas present requests. All right, so that's number 8. Then that brings us to number 7.
So this one's a little weird. It's not going to be much of a conversation with this one.
Okay.
I'm wondering, should I say the name or describe it first?
Like you're going to try to give me a guess it?
Yes. I think I'm going to do the guessing thing.
Okay.
What's the name of that big thing that's usually the centerpiece that's like, looks like a horn?
It's a cornucopia.
Yo, you know the name of it. I had to look that up.
What? Yeah, of course I know what a cornucopia is.
I had no idea what a cornucopia is. Where and when else do you see a cornucopia on display?
The Hunger Games.
Yeah, I don't know the Hunger Games.
That's
the guy that watches Power Rangers, so.
Right? No, I mean, is there a cornucopia in Fruit of the Loom? The logo for underwear? I think that was like an urban myth or whatever, or like the Mandela effect. No, if you ever look up the Fruit of the Loom underwear logo, like I think people thought there was a cornucopia in it, but there's actually not. And so that's when I think of a cornucopia. It's Thanksgiving and underwear.
Oh, wait, now that you mention it, I think that it is.
But it doesn't exist. It's like it's a Berenstein Bears situation.
Wait, what did you say?
It's a Berenstein Bears situation. It's not real.
Bernstein.
That's what I'm saying. Stain is real. No cornucopia. It's just fruit.
Oh, man. Now I'm going to have to look it up.
Yeah, look it up.
But in general,
cornucopias.
Other than like advertising, where else do you see it?
No, you don't. It's a Thanksgiving thing.
Yeah, so I see that and I go, Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Instantly
no, that's fair.
think Thanksgiving.
Honestly, you know what I think of more specifically is not just Thanksgiving, because we didn't even talk about this, but pilgrims. I think of it as
talk about it.
Well, okay, because
I won't. So
it's not on your list. All right. No, so, did you in school? Did you guys make those paper construction paper hats for like with the buckles on the front?
Yeah.
And then did you trace your hand for the turkey feathers?
Of course.
Okay, because my kids are actually. The kids now, this is kind of cool. So if you're listening to this and you're a parent and you have kids that are like between 4 and 7,
gather around for a grand tale.
No, I'm honestly curious if this is like a big thing now. Is they have a cutout of a turkey. It's just like a picture of a turkey. It's black and white, and it just says like this turkey does not want to get eaten for Thanksgiving, so you need to draw a disguise on him so that he hides from the turkey hunters for Thanksgiving. And so like both of my kids had to make one. So one of them, my youngest, made a peacock. He turned him into a peacock, so he's a different bird. And then my oldest loves Minecraft, so he literally covered him in little mini Post-it notes to make him look like a pixelated creeper from Minecraft. So it's honestly, it's a really cool tradition. I think it's kind of replaced the tracing your hand for the turkey feathers, whatever. But that's what I remember. Or you would do like a bunch of hands, and it was like a front view of the turkey, right? You know what I mean? And then like every hand was like a different feather color.
I don't remember that. I know about the presidential pardon of the turkey.
Oh, I didn't learn about that till later. Who was the first president to do that? Do you remember?
Oh, I don't know. I remember hearing who it was, but I can't recall.
And then it still happens every year, right? I think that's like the thing. Yes. So,
cornucopia. This conversation about cornucopia went way longer than I thought it was going to.
I mean, yeah, considering it's just a wicker horn, you know, but like I said, if you're not going to talk about pilgrims in your list, then we got to address the pilgrims because that was a big part of it. And of course, we all learned that really happy-go-lucky story about Thanksgiving that turned out to be totally not true when we got older and just, you know, it was like, wow, that was dark.
Like
As far-
everything.
As far as like the real, you want to hear about the real Thanksgiving? Let me tell you about
No, I don't.
Let me tell you about smallpox blankets. No, I'm good.
Let's not. Let me have my illusion in
Right?
my childhood still.
Let me keep my innocence. So
Yeah.
anyway, all right. So that's all I had to say about pilgrims, though. So that was number 7. Let's go ahead and keep on going up the list here to number 6.
Staying on the same topic.
Yeah.
Do not expect this to be a long conversation either.
Well, who knows?
The decorative corn. I think
Oh,
it's
Indian
also called
corn.
Indian corn. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Indian corn.
There we go.
I think. Do they
Another
still
thing I
call it that? If not, I apologize. I know it is Indian corn.
Native American corn.
Native American maize.
Indigenous people corn.
Yes, I know
Very
that. I
politically correct.
It was like black and brown and red and like it was
And
all kinds of
yellow.
cool colors, and it would just hang on. It would hang on door frames. That's where I remember it being placed, was on door frames.
I remember being inside the cornucopia.
Okay, so that was part. Now, did you actually put or whoever put it in there? Did they put real fruit and stuff that you could eat in there too, or was it all decoration stuff? That you couldn't
that's
eat?
a good question.
Because technically, it's supposed to symbolize like a bountiful harvest. And so people would actually put I've seen it where like they put like fruits and stuff in there.
Yes. Okay. Wow. I haven't thought about that in a long time.
See, that's what this is about. We're triggering things for you in a good
folks,
way.
this is the real deal. Like it's all coming back to me. Speaking of which, we just uploaded a 90s and 2000s music discussion. Should check that out. So I don't sing ever again.
Absolutely.
But Dan's 100% right, and as corny as this sounds, get it? Because we're talking about corny. He just brought up something that has not even remotely crossed my mind in probably 20 years.
Okay.
Is you were talking about appetizers before.
Yes.
We had the shrimp. We had the cornucopia with the corn, the Indian corn.
Yep.
And then we did have apples.
Like actual apples.
Actual apples.
Yep.
And then for your appetizer, we had cut cheese, wine and cheese.
Yep.
And apples. So
Okay.
if you wanted to eat an apple, you would actually take it from the harvest
The cornucopia.
and cut it.
Yep.
Wow.
There it is.
Jeez, haven't thought about that.
It was
Wow,
cool
that's a
because you
long
could
time.
eat the decorations. It was nifty.
Yeah. Where
You
else
know?
can you eat the decorations? Halloween.
Halloween.
Halloween,
But
you
no, I mean, what decorations are edible? I
Candy
mean,
corn.
Christmas, technically, if you're talking like a gingerbread house,
Yeah.
you know,
do that.
or Easter eggs. Are they really decorative? I don't know. Do you decorate your house with hard-boiled eggs?
You could.
Sort of.
Hide them.
Well, you hide them. Well, the Easter Bunny hides them, Lou. Jeez.
Freak of an Easter bunny's
Yeah. I
just
don't
walking
know.
around. I was not going. He freaks me out. So
All
that's twice that just
Yeah.
the conversation
All right.
kind of blows me away there.
So, okay, so we're about to hit the top half of this discussion here. So let's just recap the first 5. So coming in number 10, we had sports on Thanksgiving Eve. I mean, in general, but Thanksgiving Eve, a lot of memories there, of course, with
Yes.
hockey and wrestling
Yep.
and everything. Number 9, once again, was what was number 9?
That was the Black Friday.
It was Black Friday, okay, or Green Friday if you worked at Target, or
Yeah.
if you work at Target now. By the way, I'm curious if it's still called Green Target. It wouldn't surprise me.
Green Friday. Not Green Target.
Or Green Friday. Yeah, jeez. All right, so then number 8 was
The Sears catalog.
the Sears catalog. Number 7, a cornucopia, which devolved into a discussion about pilgrims. And then number 6, we have Indian corn. So that is the first 5 in the list. We are now in the what I like to call the upper echelon. So the top 5 that you've chosen. Is it fair to say that these next 5 are even more vivid memories for you?
Yes. That's all I have is yes.
Yes.
I was trying to think. Yes. Nope. That's it.
That's it. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then what do you
I
have?
feel like I'm on trial. Yes.
What do you have for number 5?
So how about some food that you usually, at least in my family,
Yeah.
usually don't eat year round?
Okay.
Like, for example, this isn't Thanksgiving related for a moment. When do you have corned beef and cabbage outside of St. Patrick's Day?
No, you don't. I mean,
You don't.
Unless it's on clearance in April because they didn't sell enough in the grocery stores, and we would go buy corned beef.
It would be delicious.
It would be amazing. But yeah,
Yes.
usually it's the late winter, early spring.
So when do you have turnips and or cranberries outside of Thanksgiving?
Well, I'll tell you, turnips is never, and that includes during Thanksgiving because I think they're a nasty, vile food.
Wow.
I hate turnips so much. They're gross. I don't know.
Terrible.
And I don't know, again, if I don't think she listens to my podcast, but could it have been the way my mom prepared turnips? Probably not, because I heard that, like, my family members would praise the turnips, and they smelled like farts, dude. Like, I can't get past the fart smelling.
You're talking about mom and dad a little rough on this one,
No,
man. I don't know.
I'm just, it's all coming. No, I never ate the turnips. I thought it was applesauce one time, so I took a bite, and it was not applesauce, and I was very disappointed. And I'm pretty sure I gagged and maybe threw up. So,
oh boy. But
cranberry sauce, it's funny you mention that because you can buy it year round. So with cranberry sauce, you can buy it like I was saying, you can buy it year round, but it's typically eaten at Thanksgiving and Christmas. Did you eat it at Christmas as well?
Nope. The only time I remember eating it was during Thanksgiving. Sporadically, like if I was at a restaurant, but at home, no. I only had cranberries.
And when we're saying cranberries, we're saying cranberry sauce. We're not saying like you wouldn't eat whole cranberries.
Well, I'm talking about they were from a can.
Yeah. Oh, no. Everyone's is from a can.
Okay.
I've had homemade cranberry sauce, and it's delicious, but the amount of effort they put into making it is not enough for me to go, oh, that's so much better than Ocean Spray. Like, no, not even close. Side note, have you ever eaten just plain cranberries?
Oh, yeah.
Like not cranberry sauce, like just a cranberry.
No, yeah, cranberries I like, yeah.
Yeah, they're like bitter, though.
They are.
They're really, they're not bad in small doses. Like I tried eating a whole bag one time, and I just felt really unpleasant.
No, it'd be too much.
It was. But no, because Beth loves cranberry sauce, she'll buy a can of cranberry sauce in like June just because she's hankering for some cranberry sauce. It doesn't happen often, but I love cranberry sauce. Like I will eat a whole can. I used to. That was my thing. Is they go, oh, gotta buy Danny an extra can of cranberry sauce because he's gonna eat the whole thing. And I did. It was that was a weird Jack Nicholson impression kind of thing.
Yeah, he came over for Thanksgiving.
He ate the whole thing. So I would eat like I would dump the whole thing out. I would slice it in half, and then I would take one half, and then I would very quickly eat the other because it was so easy to eat. Right, like you didn't have to chew it; you could just suck it down, and it was delicious. It was like it's the perfect food. So anyway. Basically the hatred I have for turnips is the exact opposite for how I feel about cranberries. That much
I learned
love.
something today.
You didn't know that I hated turnips?
I didn't know you disliked or liked those things.
Yeah, no. Well, I mentioned this to you right before we started recording, but like we've been friends for 17 years, and we never talked about Thanksgiving. Like it was always like all right, I'll see you after the holidays, or I'll see you after Thanksgiving, and then we just move on with our lives. We don't talk about what we did. I don't know if it's because we're dudes, and like maybe dudes just don't talk about their holidays.
Because I didn't do much. It was
well, neither did we. That's the thing.
I watched football. I ate, and I went out for Black Friday. I think it was more like, hey, this is what I got on Black Friday.
Well, that's what it was. Yeah. So I mean, that's it, but yeah. So I've been learning a lot about you as well. Is my point is that this has been a journey of self-discovery and discovery of a friendship that has been going for almost 20 years and still learning about each other. So that's always fun.
That's
a true bromance, if you will.
Yes.
Yes.
If you will.
If you will. Okay. So number 5 was turnips and cranberry sauce. Well, it was food in general that you only associate. Let's talk about that. Are there other foods that you only associate with Thanksgiving and no other time of the year?
Stuffing.
Okay.
Yep. Stuffing.
Okay. See, I'll have stuffing. That's another one. Like I'll make stuffing and I will just have it as a side with like, if we're doing like a rotisserie chicken where it's kind of like things, because we'll have like sort of Thanksgiving like dinners throughout the year, like a roast chicken, mashed potatoes, and stuffing. You know what I mean?
I don't have stuffing other than, and I'm not a big turkey fan either, but
no.
I have it more than just at Thanksgiving, but
yeah,
the whole cranberry stuffing.
Sorry, we talked
yams
about
yams is another one too. Yams.
Well, and I'll tell you about yams in a second. I have a tradition with that. So, but as far as you talk about cranberry, you eat it out of the can. It's just as good. It's better sometimes. What about stuffing though? Is it box stuffing or like was somebody
My mom
in your
made
house?
it.
She made it. Yeah.
When she would go over the night before,
she would make the dress.
That's what she was
doing. In
doing.
the turkey or was it out of the turkey?
Oh, always out of the turkey.
So then it's called, technically, I learned this when I moved down here, it's called dressing, not stuffing. Because if you don't stuff it in the turkey, it's not stuffing.
There's silence for a reason, folks.
Is it because I blew your mind?
No, it's because I'm not from the South.
I'm
Bless
not from
my
the South
heart.
either. No, I just... Oh my gosh.
Well, you know why? I couldn't do that. Did you ever see the Three Stooges skit where Curly's stuffing the turkey and his watch gets caught in it? Yeah, that would be a phobia I would have. I'm about eating somebody's ring or watch or something.
That's fair. Yeah,
I don't want that to happen.
That hand was in a bird less than 7 hours ago. All right, so stuffing's another one. I can see it. I agree. I think it's, I can see why it's not as popular year round. I do love, you talked about turkey, but like gravy. Like you don't really see gravy on a lot of things other than Thanksgiving mashed potatoes and turkey.
Yeah. I didn't really think about that, but you're right.
And then what about, at the risk of, we've already talked about it, but at the risk of it being on your list too, but like what about like pumpkin pie?
I don't know what you're talking about. You want to hear my next thing?
I do. Let's talk number 4.
Ha! I trick you. It's not anything to do with pumpkin pie.
Oh.
Okay, Homer. But since we're men and we don't talk about feelings, I'm going to share my feelings. I like the foliage.
Like just like you're talking about like the turning
leaves,
of the leaves.
The leaves changing and getting a little bit cooler outside. I like that.
See, that starts in October for me, though. I actually associate that more with October and Halloween than I do with Thanksgiving.
I feel like Thanksgiving's your last hurrah for it.
I guess, because, I mean,
then it's going to
theoretically,
die in a couple days.
If I don't even remember. I remember leaves being pretty much gone by Thanksgiving up there in New York.
Well, you know what? I'm going to send some photos.
Please do, because I'm curious. Yeah, is it so? You're saying you still have a lot of like orange and red and brown foliage then?
Yeah. Well, It was 75 degrees last week, so
that's true. Yeah, we've had some weird weather down here too, so that's fair. Let me ask you this, because I can't remember. Speaking of foliage, down here, whatever grass they have in most neighborhoods, it goes dormant this time of year, so it's all brown out there. Like, is it green up there still? I forget what kind of it is. Right?
It's green.
I don't remember what kind of grass it is. I don't. We're not. It's not a grass discussion. Podcast,
you need Dan Vorbeck on here if we're going to talk about plants and trees and grass and all that.
But
I went to school for it. That's why I say it, folks.
I remember though. I remember the grass was always green up there, and it just
grass is greener on this side,
on that side, and it's true.
On the north of the Bible Belt.
There it is. Anyway, so the foliage, I can appreciate that because it's the last hurrah, and then. Honestly, if you don't get snow in December, then it just looks depressing. But like if you get snow and it's beautiful, at least for a little bit, and then you realize you have to drive in it and shovel it, and it sucks.
Yeah, give me 1 inch of snow on Christmas, and I'll be happy.
That's all you need. That's all it is, man. All right, so foliage at number 4. That brings us to number 3.
We talked about this a good amount in the beginning, so we're ready for some football talk.
Yep.
Man, it's some boring games on Thanksgiving.
So tell me about that.
Because we're stuck with the Lions and the Cowboys. I mean, the Cowboys, I get it. America's team.
It's funny, too? Because I never watched football on Thanksgiving, and yet I always picture, if there is a game on TV in the background, there is always the Detroit Lions. Why is that?
Because when they wanted to play on Thanksgiving, teams did not want to, and then the owner of the Lions said, we'll play. And then here we are.
And so years later.
It's a tradition to watch one of the few teams that are worse than the Jets play on Thanksgiving.
Okay. And who do they play? Is it always the same team?
It's always different, but thank God they expanded it to 3 games. So you got the early afternoon game at, I don't know if it's at 12 or 1. I mean, on regular Sundays, you have your 1 o'clock, your 4 o'clock, and then your 8 o'clock game. So I'm not sure the exact times on Thanksgiving. It may be a little different, but they expanded it to have a night game now, and the night game is not the Cowboys or the Lions, so you get 2 fresh teams.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But the greatest moment in Jets history happened on Thanksgiving one year. Oh yeah, it was let me get up the year. Hold on, because I need to be correct about this. Bear with me. So it was November 22nd, 2012. Okay. If you're a Jets fan or a Patriots fan, you're going to know this. Jets were doing pretty good the last couple of years during that time period. Mark Sanchez was the quarterback. And as soon as I say Mark Sanchez, see, just saying it makes me angry. National TV. Thanksgiving. The world is watching. Are the Jets serious over the last couple of years of fluke? They're against the Patriots, against Tom Brady. Here we go. We're going to hike the ball, and we're going to run face first into a lineman's ass. The butt fumble happened on Thanksgiving.
Oh my gosh. You'll never forget it though.
No, I won't.
That's 10 years
me.
ago.
Oh, that's even worse.
That was 10
Jeez.
years ago.
Oh, now people are going to text me from work and say, "Oh, happy 10-year anniversary of the butt fumble," because all
There it
Patriot
is.
fans.
Oh
Yep.
my gosh. Well, there it is. All right. So we brought football back into the fold for number 3, more specifically, bad football.
Yep.
So then that brings us to number 2.
The Macy's Parade.
Yes.
Who doesn't like the Macy's Parade?
Absolutely. I love the Macy's Day Parade, man.
Get the big guy at the end.
That's right.
To remind you to go shopping tomorrow.
Of course. And it's always right in front of Macy's. So, I mean, it's
Well, yeah.
perfect.
Obviously, it's their parade, so it should be. Be weird if it was in front of JCPenney.
So, you know what's funny is I never watched it growing up. I didn't watch it until I moved down here and got married.
Yeah,
Did you
Probably
watch it as a kid growing up? Did your parents watch it or no?
I watched it.
Because it's different for you. You lived in like Metro New York. Was it a bigger deal down there to like watch it?
I feel like sometimes it is.
Okay.
Because it is not literally down the block, but it's within commuting distance. And it's funny you bring that up, and I know we touched on this in some other episodes, and I'm actually glad you did bring it up, is sometimes when I watch movies.
Yeah.
And they're based in New York. Like, my favorite movie is Ghostbusters. Well, do I like that because it's a good movie? I think it is. Do I like it because it's in New York? It can't hurt. But do other people not feel that because it's not in their time? If there was a movie that was in Atlanta,
yeah, would I like it more?
would you like it a little bit more? Because like, oh, I know that building, and I can go see that, I can go see this.
I think so. But you know, it's almost the reverse happened. Like the first time I went down to Manhattan, and I was older, I was like 20, and I'd never been before. And all of a sudden I'm walking through Central Park. I'm like, okay, I have seen these benches in like 6 movies where it's like a couple that's just walking down talking about their feelings. There's usually a chick flick is where Central Park is showcased.
Generic Hallmark movie number 25.
Exactly. Or, you know, in Battery Park, I'm looking out at the water and I'm like, okay, I swear to God, this is like a scene from a movie where somebody's going through deep self-reflection after they've just had a bad breakup. It's always rom-coms for some reason with New York. I feel like New York is like the center of romantic comedies, superhero movies, of course.
I was going to say that now with the superhero stuff.
You know?
Yeah, the Avengers are there.
I mean, I don't know. I think in general, it's pretty much like the main city that's featured in movies that if you want to talk about what it's like to have to work and live in the city, it's always New York. It's rarely another city at this point. Maybe Los Angeles or Chicago, I guess.
You know, the only other location Godzilla's ever attacked other than Tokyo and Japan in general
New York.
Was New York.
Those had the biggest
Stunk.
buildings.
It stunk, but Godzilla still attacked.
That's a great movie. I don't care what you say.
Godzilla 98?
97, first of all, and yes. Or no, it is 98. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah,
no, I love that movie.
Your remark. Yeah,
That's a
it is
great-
Godzilla 98.
And it's a great movie. Whatever. With Matthew Broderick. Fantastic movie.
Do you know they brought that Godzilla into like the new version of Godzilla and they named him Zilla
Yes.
because he wasn't God-worthy?
Well, I didn't know it was because of that.
Yeah.
And I mean,
That's how, and then the actual Godzilla killed him in like 30 seconds. It was a squash match.
Listen, that's a creative choice that I have to respect, but I don't care. That movie's fantastic. All right, so the Macy's Day Parade, again, so you didn't really watch it as a kid. Sounds like neither of us did.
No, I don't recall watching it because it was a day off from school. I was probably playing with my toys or playing a video game, or it was nice. I was outside.
Yep.
Maybe because we're guys. Sorry, stereotypes do exist, regardless of what anybody says.
Yeah, because Beth and her sister always watched it growing up. Maybe it is.
Are we allowed to say that?
No, I mean she has a sister and they watch.
No, I mean like we're guys and we don't really watch parades and feelings and emotions.
Honestly, I don't mind watching it now though. Like
I don't mind it either.
I don't. I enjoy it. I mean, especially now that I have kids, they love it. So it's really cool watching it with them because it's interesting because like they'll have floats for like cartoon shows that I don't know what they are. Like my kids do. I don't know what they are, but I'm like, that's great, man. Because I guarantee you they had a Ninja Turtles float back in '92, and adults were like watching, like, what is this nonsense? Whereas I guarantee you, if you're a kid watching that parade, you're going ape shit. Let's be honest. So they still have like stuff from our childhood that they bring out, which I think is great. Like I'll try to
Power Ranger float.
That's what I was going to say. There's a Power Ranger float,
and it's the actual original Red Ranger.
It's the Red Ranger.
Yeah, it's the original Red Ranger. It's like, oh, the new whatever season. We're actually up to season 30. They're not going to have the 30th season Red Ranger. They're going to have the original Red Ranger to promote something that's coming 29 years after him.
Because everyone knows that. That's what they think of with Power Rangers to this day. And so you got him, you got Sonic the Hedgehog, you got Barney the Purple Dinosaur. So like it's honestly we should probably take pictures this year and post them on the Facebook of like, all right, that was from our childhood, because I feel like that would be really cool.
I think that's a great idea. Yes, absolutely.
So, but anyway, so all right, so the parade and of course what comes after the parade is the dog show, which I love. Again, I never watched it as a kid. I think the first time I watched it was in the last 10 years, and I very much enjoy it. So, yeah.
I did a quick Goog while you were doing your speech.
Yeah.
And I typed in Ninja Turtles Thanksgiving parade float.
Yeah.
And I don't really... Oh, wait, there's one. Oh, man. All right, so apparently it was the 65th Macy's Thanksgiving parade.
Okay.
And I wish we could show everybody, but Google that.
Let me describe it to you. Yeah, so you got two guys in turtle costumes sitting on the back of some kind of convertible.
It looks like a Chevy.
A Chevy Bel Air maybe, or I don't know cars.
I mean, it's great. It's also very grainy too.
That's fair. But yeah, now it's like a big old float and whatever. Or no, it's people in costume still. I think it is.
Yeah, but they look better than this. This is really.
Well, yeah, that's fair.
Oh, they have Santa hats on too.
Well, yeah, it's the holiday season, so that makes sense. There it is. Okay, you show me the picture. Again, if you're listening to this, you have no idea what I'm looking at, but it's just...
that's what you got to type in. Type in, what did I say, 65th Macy's Thanksgiving Parade TMNT, and it will come right up.
Okay, there we go. So the Macy's Day Parade, and we're going to watch it this year, just because that's what we always do. So yeah. No, I love the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. But listen, that does bring us to number one. Now, before we get to number one...
And by the way, that was 1991.
That was 91. See, there it is. I knew it. All right, so before we get to number one, do you have any honorable mentions?
I don't really. My honorable mention was actually going to be the Wrestling Survivor Series, because I don't want to talk too much about wrestling.
Right.
But, I incorporated that with the sports. It would have been the wrestling show Survivor Series.
Because wrestling is a sport, damn it, and I don't care what you say.
Yeah.
All right.
It's fixed. I didn't ever. It was broken.
That's right. There it is. Okay. Well, then we're ready for number one?
We are.
All right. What do you have for number one?
Pumpkin pie.
There it is. Thank you.
I know. You've been waiting for an hour or so into this.
I figured it was going to get an honorable mention.
Please wait. Pumpkin pie.
I love pumpkin pie.
I love it too.
I'm not even lying to you. I'm pretty sure I ate in the span of 2 days. I ate an entire pumpkin pie by myself.
Oh, I definitely could.
Yeah, no,
I definitely could.
And it was one of those where like my mom, because my mom was a very good baker, and so every year she would.
Oh, now they're good at something. Before it was like, well, Dad wasn't this, and Mom wouldn't do that, and that. Whoa, hey,
I'm not going to eat her turnips.
By the way, I like that pumpkin pie.
Oh my, no, seriously though, like to the point now where if I were to go visit her in Florida, regardless of what time of year it is, I could easily, I could ask for a pumpkin pie, and she will make a pumpkin pie without even thinking twice, and I will love every bite of that thing.
Yeah, pumpkin pie is the best.
It happened we went there for spring break this year. I took the kids down. We went to see them in Florida. There was a pumpkin pie waiting for me when I got there.
That's great.
It was amazing. So, okay, let's talk about, I asked you before for your top three your top three pies for Thanksgiving. So we got pumpkin, obviously number one.
Yes.
What is your number two? If there's no pumpkin pie or it's all gone?
My grandfather used to call this coconut disguster because he didn't like it, but I loved it. My dad's favorite pie? No, coconut. Coconut cream pie is good. Lemon meringue pie is good. I mean, it's a lot.
So you guys would have a lot of,
but coconut custard.
I love coconut custard. Yeah,
that's my number two.
We never had that growing up. So in our house, we would have pumpkin pie. We would have either apple or cherry.
Yeah.
Not both. And then my grandmother would always make my dad, let's see if you remember this, it's called mincemeat pie.
I know it, but I never had it.
So there's no meat in it. It's literally like spiced fruits and I honestly don't think I've ever had it because it always looked really gross as a kid, and I just want a pumpkin pie.
And also, the name of it doesn't sound very
Mincemeat?
appetizing either.
No, it doesn't at all.
Sounds like basically a hot dog stuffed inside of a pie.
Pretty
Minced
much.
meat. Yep.
But do you know what my absolute favorite is besides pumpkin? And I'm saying this is a solid tie for number one for me. And this is,
Cherry?
again, no. This is one that, again, I didn't eat until I moved down here. So you may not have really eaten it.
Is it a peach?
And it is a pecan pie.
Oh, I've had pecan pie.
That's like, no, but it's not like a regular occurrence for you, though.
No, it's not.
No, like that's like Thanksgiving. Like if I were to walk into a Sam's Club right now, they would have side by side with a pumpkin. In fact, probably more pecan pies than pumpkin pies.
Really?
That's how
Well, it's more
popular they
apple
are.
pies up here because we're the Big Apple.
That's true, and your apples are way better than our apples down here.
Yes.
As far as local produce. But I digress. Yeah, we like pecan pie and then sweet potato pie.
I've had that.
It
But-
tastes like pumpkin pie. It's very similar.
Yeah. Key
My,
lime pie is another good one too.
Key lime pie is good. I don't associate that Thanksgiving though.
No, I'm just saying in general.
Oh, now we're just talking pies.
In general,
Okay.
this is deteriorated to a pie conversation, a pie
I
fight.
So I never liked a lot of the fruit pies growing up, right? Because I was that's fruit now. But like a chocolate cream pie, or you mentioned lemon meringue pie. Love lemon meringue pie.
I'm hungry now. Like legitimately thinking
Yeah.
about what I'm going to eat.
I'm looking.
When we're done with this.
It's 10:00, and I'm like, I could go for some pie, and we don't.
I
have any
could too.
pie.
Definitely have no pie in this house.
No,
Not table talk either. You have a table talk pie?
No, what's that?
It's
Is that
like
one of
yeah, the little guys, the little
The
commercial
small one.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah, my mom used to buy this for us for school lunches.
Oh wow, look at you.
I know. Like, I mean, it probably shouldn't because
I got a fruit snack.
No, I would get
You got
either
like
that-
a little mini pie.
I did. It was great. And it was like either chocolate cream or I think I would eat apple pie if it was the little mini kind. It was really good. And then you remember, of course, the handheld, like the Hostess fruit pies.
I was just gonna say that. That was the next thing I
That
couldn't
counts as
remember
pie.
what company it was. Well, yeah, and don't look at the ingredients or the fat content, saturated
Oh
fat.
God, no.
No.
I remember one time.
That's a once a year thing.
I remember one time I ate 2 of those
Oh,
for a breakfast,
oh boy,
and yeah, I think I took a nap at like 1:00 that day.
that was bad.
It was really bad.
Yeah, when I was a kid, when I would go to work with my dad, there was a 7-Eleven next door.
Yeah.
Well, for those not in the metro, I think 7-Eleven's around more than just Metro New York.
We don't have any down here, but I've been.
I
to a
know it's
7-Eleven.
in. See, I learned things from sports. The Dallas Stars have a 7-Eleven logo on their helmet.
Oh well, there you go.
Why? I don't. Well, I know because it's money and sponsorship, but come on, you can do better than 7-Eleven. But anyway, 7-Eleven is like a chain convenience store that has all the stuff you're not supposed to eat.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would get those pies a lot in the summertime. But I was a kid. I would eat it and just run around in circles and do
And
whatever
burn
the
it
hell
all
I
off.
wanted. Burn it
Yeah.
off. Now it's like, oh, I shouldn't have eaten that.
Yeah, it's terrible. So, but you know, it's funny. We got off topic on the pies, but that feeling you just gave is the feeling I had on most Thanksgiving days.
What, being full?
Really full. Like, let me ask you about that because I did want to address this with you too because I feel like it's a negative part of our culture in general is just the excessive. It's just the excess. Did you always like as a kid? I didn't, and that's why. Like, I don't know when it turned for me where it became like a food eating competition with myself where I'm like, I'm just going to eat as much as I can. Like I didn't do that as a kid, but I did it as an adult. Like, did you like as a kid?
Because you're a man now.
I guess, but like, did you try stuff in your face like as much as you could as a kid or no? You
If I
just
did,
ate
it was
and then
during,
you were full.
if I did, it was during dessert.
Okay, and you just eat well because pumpkin pie is delicious.
Yeah.
But the meal, it was like whatever you had in your plate, you were good, you're full, that's it. You didn't say, I'm on a mission to eat as much of this as I can.
No, I never did. And very few times in my life have I ever, wanted to do that or acted like that.
Yeah.
If I was going to say,
I had a few years in adulthood where I did that. I don't do that now. Like if I'm full, like I'm done. Like I'm not going to just like stuff myself for the sake of it because it's a terrible feeling. And I'll tell you what, folks, as an adult, it sticks around in your gut in your gut a lot longer than when you were a kid. So you're feeling that unpleasant feeling like well into like going to bed, and it's not easy to deal with. So
yeah, that's certainly not a good feeling. I don't recall ever being like that. I do remember seeing some family members with overflowing plates. It's just like, why?
Yeah.
Like, what do you? But to each their own. I'm sure there are people that diet really, really intense and hardcore, and that's their one day to go. Screw it, it's gonna go all in and do whatever the hell I want. Okay, yeah. I mean, everybody is different, but then you have those people that, like you said, just that stereotype. Whether it's, I made fun of media to start the show, may make fun of media to end the show. How many times you've seen in the news? Do you know how many turkeys are going to be eaten during Thanksgiving? This is how much weight the average American gains during Thanksgiving. This is how much food is left over during Thanksgiving. Shut up. We got it. We eat a lot. That also kind of goes to it, I believe, also.
Yeah.
In your subconscious of, we're all going to eat.
All the
dads are going to undo their it's glorified, and all the men are going to undo their top buttons at the end of the table
and fall asleep in the recliners afterwards.
Well, that I do.
Wow, okay,
I do, because turkey has the whatever it is in it that makes you sleepy. Yeah, sure, whatever. Tryptophan, Triple H, whatever.
I don't know. I think it's a cop out. I don't know if turkey really makes me sleepy. Maybe it does.
Because you're eating all day, regardless.
I think, regardless of whether it's turkey or whatever, if you're like that full, you're just that tired too. You think about that, but... it's also probably, it's colder out, well, in the north.
Yeah. It's colder out, so you have your heat on, so it's hotter in the house, and the oven's on, it's probably hotter in the kitchen, and you have a couple of glasses of wine, and next thing you know, you're waking up at 2 a.m. to go get a TV that's $25 off.
That's right, man. That's the American dream.
I was just going to say, that's it. God bless America.
Oh, man.
And I mean it in the nicest way possible, folks. I'm just
we're
making fun of us.
It's funny, too, because, like, a lot of our episodes that we do, like, I'll write out a show outline, right? And we'll have notes of things we want to talk about. And today, I was like, we're texting. I was like, you want to just wing it? Yeah, let's just wing it. So apologies if you're used to a more formatted episode of the Generation S podcast. This is certainly a little more loose, but again, we figured you're driving, you're traveling for the day. Maybe this is nice, just hearing two guys just kind of shoot the breeze back and forth and reminisce on days gone by, specifically around the holiday season. I had one more question for you, Lou, and then we want to wrap up.
Sure. Yeah.
We didn't really talk about like the attire, like what you wore on Thanksgiving Day, and the reason I'm asking this is because as a like a little kid, I'm pretty sure I just wore whatever like jeans and a shirt.
Yeah.
Or sweat. Honestly, I didn't wear jeans until I was old. I wore sweatpants. But like as like a teenager and young adult, I remember I took pride in like wearing a nice shirt. I might even have put on a tie, like dressed up for the holiday. But now I've come full circle. Now I'm showing up down the street in like a onesie, right? And I'm wearing pajamas all day.
Oh, that's
what
really
about you?
Fun. So I remember the first time I ever wanted to wear a suit to an event. I mean, obviously I wore a suit for communion. Yeah, probably the first suit I wore was for communion. You wear that all white outfit. Oh boy.
Yep.
But for some reason, I really wanted to wear a suit for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I vividly remember going to, it wasn't a big department store. I guess it was like a local mom and pop medium-sized store, and getting a suit and getting a tie. It was this tie of the three wise men.
Yeah.
They were named Mo, Larry, and Curly, and I'm not joking. It was actually a Three Stooge tie.
That's amazing.
And I wore it, and I remember I just wanted to dress nice. I don't recall wearing anything baggy or a football jersey. At minimum, it was a polo shirt. Even as a kid, and by kid, I mean like 10, 11, it was a polo shirt. Maybe it was jeans. Maybe it was corduroys.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Do they still make those?
They do, yeah.
Oh, wow. As in high school, it was definitely a polo shirt. Maybe even a button-down. Same thing in college. It's always been business casual. Now it's probably jeans and a polo shirt.
Okay.
But still, it's funny because I supervise a staff where I work, and we have to talk about dress code. And one of the things I always say is dress like you're going to grandma's house. At minimum, dress like you're going to grandma's house on Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And one person goes, well, I don't celebrate it. I'm like, well, then figure it out.
Just Google it.
Figure it out. Like, come on.
So
Don't bust my chops.
So dressing fairly nice was always a tradition for you from childhood even to now. You're not going to show, like I said, for us, we show up. Maybe it's because we get there at 8 a.m, but we're showing up in pajamas, watching the parade, drinking hot cocoa. That's like our thing. Sometimes we change out of it. Like I remember, there's definitely years where I'll put that. I mean, I'll wear like a plaid flannel shirt, for the fall season with jeans. Sometimes I'll stay in pajamas all day. It just depends on the weather. But yeah, so no, it's interesting. So yeah, I mean, and I think that's pretty common is people dressing nice for Thanksgiving. We just never did it a lot growing up. But as I got older, I liked it. I liked dressing up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I completely understand. You start your day bumming out.
Yeah.
Then you get nice, and then as soon as dinner and desserts over, you're bumming out again.
You're bumming out again. Exactly.
Yep.
So that's kind of what we do now. If we do change out of the jams, usually we do. I think one year we stayed in pajamas, and because we've been doing themed Thanksgivings for a few years now, where like every year is a different theme. And one of the years was like everyone was at the kids' table, so like our tablecloth was paper, and we all got crayons, funnily enough, and we got a coloring sheet, and it was just I was a 30-year-old man with a coloring sheet. It was amazing.
I actually do recall you sending me that. You probably a little woohoo.
I probably was
gone that night.
I might have been. I don't know. I mean, I would have sent that to you sober, so who knows?
Maybe.
Dude, listen, man, this was a lot of fun. And again, we've recorded this on the 10th of November, so we're still like literally 2 weeks away from Thanksgiving, but it's going to be here quick. So a lot of preparations that go into that. And no, man, hopefully I'm looking forward to it. I always love it. It's just, I said, it's my favorite time of year. It's my favorite holiday, kicking off my favorite time of the year. And yeah, so hopefully, if you're listening to this and you are traveling for Thanksgiving, you are enjoying yourself and being safe, and you're spending time with those that you love and those that you are thankful to be around. I did want to ask you, Lou, one last thing before we do wrap up. Did you always go around the table saying what you were thankful for? Was that like a tradition for you?
Only when I got older.
Same here. Yeah.
Only in the last couple of years.
Okay. So do you want to get emotional right now? Do we want to talk about what we're thankful for? I think we should.
Sure.
All right, you go first.
Why do I have to go first? Oh boy, what am I thankful for right now?
Because you're going to look back on this years from now to this podcast, and you're going to wonder what you were thankful for.
I'm thankful for my health.
Okay.
My physical health, my mental health. Yeah, I'm just going to say, yeah, that stuff. Nothing's bad has happened.
Knocking on wood.
But, there's some people that have it rough with that. So having a good set of health, being in a good rhythm, yeah, that's
okay.
That's what I'm thankful for.
That's great, man. So, for me, I am thankful for a few things, and they're pretty cliche, but I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for my beautiful wife, my children. I'm thankful for the fact that I get to see my family as often as I do. Both extended and just my own kids. I get to see my kids every single day. And again, looking back on the fact, wow, this just got real deep. On the fact that sometimes my dad would miss these big holidays, and he certainly didn't want to. I'm so thankful that I'm able to do that for my kids, where I've got a boring desk job, but that means I'm home every night for dinner, and I'm home every weekend, and I'm home every holiday. So I'm very thankful to be able to do that. And then honestly, this is where we're going to go back and bring this full circle. I am thankful for being able to do a podcast. It's a lot of fun, and I'm thankful that I get to spend. Honestly, we've spent more time doing this than we have seeing each other in person. Yeah. For years now. We pretty much will meet up every week or every other week to record something, which we're going to get to, by the way, because I do want to make a couple of plugs here. But I am very thankful that I get to connect with people that I consider my friends and just talk about whatever we're talking about for... Oh my gosh, we're over an hour and a half into this one, which is crazy because I didn't think we were going to go that long.
And no, I thought this was going to be a 25-minute thing.
The turkey and pie and okay, good. Okay, bye. No,
Yeah.
we've I mean, again, it's not. This is definitely not as structured of an episode as they usually are, and we've gone off on a few tangents, but that's okay.
But
too.
isn't that Thanksgiving?
That's what it really is.
If you think about it, you're not going to
Yes.
sit there and go, I'm going to talk to Uncle Joe about, I'm going to talk about what I've done at school and what I've done at work and what this person's. You can think about that, but guess what? That TV goes like, I love that show. Oh,
Yep.
the lines are actually, well, they're not. They're terrible, but they're terrible again. It's a different kind of show because it's a different topic.
Yes, and we're
It's
having
about
just
conversation, and that's what everybody should be doing, whether it's with friends, whether it's with family, whether it's in if you have to work. Thank you for working on Thanksgiving, regardless of what you're doing.
Absolutely.
If you're pumping gas, it's
Yep.
appreciated. If you're working in a hospital, it's appreciated. If you're stocking the shelves so I can, fight somebody for my $25 off my TV, thank you.
Yep.
If you got a PS5 where I live, please hold it aside for me.
Yep.
But thank you for working on
Yes.
Thanksgiving.
Yes, absolutely. And if you're listening to this, thank you. I know I usually thank listeners pretty much every episode, but truly, thank you. Before we started recording, we were talking, you and I, Lou, about our listener count is growing. And there's no way around it. We're getting more listeners, and most of our, every episode we're getting more downloads. This last episode before. This will be 2 weeks before the Battle of the Boy Bands episode. It's got almost the highest view count or listen count, whatever you want to call it, download count of any of the other episodes. So interact, there it is. So whatever you guys are doing and spreading the word, thank you, because this is a lot of fun. I get to talk to my friends for an hour, and you guys like listening to that. So I'm so thankful for you as well. So thank you very much.
That's very deep.
It really is.
I feel like I should go again.
No, it's okay. No, it's okay.
No, listen, you said some very serious stuff. I'm just very happy for my health. So
well, that's
you're gonna
good,
go
though.
If you're going to go deep, then I'm going to go deep too.
All right. Let's do it.
The New York Jets are in second place. They're at 6-3, and they beat the Buffalo Bills last week, and nobody gave them a shot. So the playoffs are in the near future. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for that. That was good.
You're welcome.
Oh, man.
All joking aside, I know I did say thank you to the people that are working. If you're able to, I mean, we're launching this Thanksgiving Eve.
Yep.
So maybe not for Thanksgiving, for the holidays. Think about the other people that don't have something.
Yes.
Toys for Tots is something I hold near and dear to my heart.
Same here.
I worked for a wrestling company, Impact Wrestling. Well, worked with. Gotta get my wording right. Worked with Impact Wrestling, and we did a lot of charitable Toys for Tot work. Toys for Tots. Nobody should have to ever not have a meal. Nobody should, especially on a holiday, not have a meal. I take it a step further, and no child should ever not have something underneath their tree. Now, if you want to say I'm being sentimental or political or spewing stuff, that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion, no matter how wrong it may be. I'm kidding, but you're entitled to your opinion. I just want to say, if you can, even if it's just a can of delicious cranberries, or it's something from, the clearance rack at Walmart that it's a toy that you have no idea what it is, but it's within your budget and it's $5, $2, just take a moment and think about somebody that doesn't have something or may have lost something. So just take a moment, be thankful for what you have, think about those that don't. And if you can do something, if not right now, because you probably are traveling to or from, when you can, I'm sure somebody down the road would appreciate it.
Yep, absolutely. So, guys, that's going to do it for the Thanksgiving episode. Thank you so much for listening. And before we go, I do want to talk about some upcoming shows and things we've got planned specifically for the Generation S podcast YouTube channel. Lou, we one of our top, I mentioned the boy band episode, but our actually still a higher download count than that is our episode about pro wrestling in the 90s. It's obviously was a very popular topic of discussion for us, but also a very popular thing that was around in pop culture back then. And so we have decided we are going to do a full retrospective series on not just wrestling in general, but we're going specific here, folks. We're talking about the unsung hero when it comes to wrestling in the 90s. We're talking about ECW, Extreme Championship Wrestling.
I did not think ECW was going to get mentioned on Thanksgiving.
Well, I still have to. There's a shameless plug in every episode, Lou. So
there is, but
I have to.
Yes, did not think ECW was going to. But full disclosure, Thanksgiving, I think ECW, because one of the first ECW shows I saw was the November to Remember. So I think about that also. We know that this show right now, this Thanksgiving show, full disclosure, is going to reach a wide range of individuals. Listen, wrestling is not everybody's cup of tea, and ECW is certainly not everybody's cup of tea. But hey, listen, if you got a friend that likes wrestling, that grew up in the 90s and 2000s, and you think they might like it, do us a favor and just let them know.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be available on YouTube in the next couple of weeks.
Yep. And hey, I made it official. We have a YouTube handle now. That's a big thing.
Oh,
now, right?
We do.
Yeah. So if you go to youtube.com/@Generation S podcast, it should come up.
Right.
So give us a search. You'll see full episodes there. I think I mentioned that previously. So episodes that get uploaded into your podcast directories also get pushed out to YouTube. But we're trying to build out that YouTube channel as a destination for other content that maybe is a little bit more specific and maybe a deeper dive on different topics like video games or pro wrestling, or maybe we'll do some more deep dives on movies and TV shows as well that, are just maybe too narrow driven, what's the word I'm thinking of, that are just too focused to be maybe a main episode of the show. So
I think that's fair and honest, because we're talking about ECW.
Well, yeah, no, that's not. This is not a wrestling podcast, so that gives us a chance to go a little deeper on a topic that people want to hear more about. So.
And maybe somebody wants to hear us list top 10 pies that we want. Well, we can go into detail about that.
I would be totally down.
Or maybe a cooking episode.
We should cooking episode.
Film a cooking episode.
I mean, can you cook?
I didn't say it was going to be me. I said film a.
Okay.
You don't want me to cook. I mean, I'm an okay cook, but I can't bake.
Me too. Yeah, I can't bake. I'm a terrible baker. Because baking is a science. Cooking is an art. Baking is a science, and I can't do science.
That's good. I'm going to steal that quote. Thank you.
You should. I stole it from somebody. So
yeah.
All right, guys. Happy holidays. I think we could say that now, right? Happy holidays.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
We're posting this the day before Thanksgiving. The next episode, you could say happy holidays.
Okay. All right. Well, then happy Thanksgiving to you folks, and be safe out there, and we'll talk to you soon.
Be careful walking down the block.
Or driving.
You never know when somebody's going to back out of the driveway. Like Dan. Be careful.
A lot of weirdos out there.
Goodbye.